All right, now that we got that little bit of stuff out of the way, it's time to get into our news bit, with which
I wanted to start happy.
Yes, and we're going to start with some interesting news coming from the recently consolidated / brought into a bigger umbrella Crunchyroll. Ellation Studios is now officially a thing. But before we get to the discourse, I just want to mention this. Verve now has a channel dedicated to 90s shows from Nick, including Kablam. You can watch it in full. Go do it now.
They got a lot of good shit on there. As soon as I saw they had Legends of the Hidden Temple, I was like, oh my god, they have this much.
It's the
Nick
best
Arcade on there?
$10 you could spend.
Here's a fun fact about me, by the way. When I was 5, I watched so many reruns of Legend of the Hidden Temple, and the first email I ever sent was to Nickelodeon being like, when are there going to be new episodes of Legend of the Hidden Temple? For a guy to tell me, that show stopped in 1996, but thanks for watching.
Nick Gas runs, I assume.
What?
Yeah.
Were you watching on Nick Gas back in the day?
Yep.
I think it was Nick Gas, yeah.
Holy
Yeah. So, so obviously the next logical step is for them to get all the original cartoons from Cartoon Network.
God.
Bring the ads in. God damn it.
I'll be honest, I think we're probably gonna get Kids WB stuff first, because I was thinking of stuff I'd really want. Is I really want to see Shaolin Showdown or fucking maybe even Code Lyoko again.
Yeah, Shaolin Showdown would be great. Code Lyoko is a French tune, so that would be harder, but they probably could.
I don't know if they're gonna get any Disney stuff.
Look, the
Okay,
real
no one's gonna
real
get any
putting
Disney
their
stuff.
they're never gonna get Disney stuff. Disney likes to keep that shit close to the.
Okay, well, I mean,
I want gargoyles on here.
I mean,
you're probably not gonna get.
yeah, Disney is literally launching their own service in 2 years. They're not giving anyone anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's starting in Q4 2019. But anyway...
Look, the real test is if they can get Megas XLR.
Oh, that would be a nice dream, but we can only dream for now. So we gotta get back
Indeed.
We gotta get back on track and talk about
We
the big
need
stuff.
We need to feel anger.
Yes, anger is the
Or,
path of
you
the
know,
dark side, because Ellation Studios is now a thing. It is a full-fledged animation studio with locations in Burbank and Tokyo, set to produce original content for Crunchyroll, headed by Miss Margaret Dean, who was prior the general manager of Stupid Buddy Studios, you know, the company behind Robot Chicken and other shows like that.
Oh, neat.
They have announced their first original production called High Guardian Space, which will premiere exclusively on Crunchyroll in 2019. And as you might guess, the reaction to this show has been...
Okay, so before we start,
No,
can
I say something?
go ahead.
Okay, so when I saw the announcement, my first thought was neat. My immediate thought was, okay, this is neat. This is neat. I wonder how crazy the reaction is going to be, because something told me, okay, I wonder how blown out proportion this is going to get.
Very.
Yeah. There has been so much visceral disdain over this, which this is just a 90-second sizzle reel video showing line art and pre-production stuff, and that has been enough to just set people off, and I mean off the deep end.
I will say this. I think, in hindsight, the trailer itself, or the actual advertisement, wasn't great. I don't think it was bad. As soon as I saw the news of original programming and they're doing cartoons, I thought, oh, neat. I'll check into that later when it's an actual thing. I'll say this. I think the trailer didn't really show anything. It just showed a visual and some behind-the-scenes stuff and talked about the crew. I think, they talked about the aspect of one of the angles that upset people or upset a certain crowd is the subject of the diversity in the staff, which was effectively about half the staff was females, the writing crew is women, yada, yada, yada. And of course, when you talk about women and diversity and the like, what's the first thing that you think? Okay, what's the first thing you actually think outside of, this doesn't matter to me, but that's cool either way? The other end of the spectrum is SJW, libtard, Tumblr.
You forgot the other magic word, CalArts.
Oh god,
Yeah, that thing that set off John Kay when he saw the Iron Giant 20 years ago.
It's not even a CalArts style, though.
But
It's not even a CalArts style.
That's become the big talking point. It doesn't matter if it's right or not. You just have to be loud.
CalArts doesn't even mean anything anymore. It's just a fucking buzzword for, this is a Marta cartoon and I hate it because it's not what I like. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing about this situation that I think what happened. This was a perfect storm of several different terrible groups all meeting in the middle. And that's what happened. The first group, the anti-Crunchyrolls. These are the people who think Crunchyroll sucks, pirating doesn't matter, Crunchyroll isn't doing anything for the industry, blah, blah, blah. Secondly, you have the anime fans who hate cartoons and Western media in general. It's like, how dare Crunchyroll be funding Western media and cartoons when they should be funding anime? Western cartoons suck. Third group of people are the anti-SJW 4chaner type people. And fourth, I feel like there's a fourth one. Let's see, am I missing anybody? It's anti-Crunchyroll, anti-Western cartoons, anti-social justice warriors. I feel like I'm missing one, but I got most of all those terrible, terrible people all come together.
There is one more person. He's a bit of a digital.
Oh right, the crowd.
Yeah.
So yes, which that wasn't even like it was like he. Here's the thing. He is a YouTuber. I understand people like to say, oh, anti-tubers suck and yada 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 because reasons and all. And not every one of them is perfect or God-given, but a couple of them are at least entertaining and interesting and make fun content. And I once was a fan of, and I liked his stuff, but then he just sort of kind of went off the deep end and sparked several controversies in drunken states and sort of went mad. Like, I personally think it's because of the John Lennon glasses, but that's just me. But, like, the reason, part of it was, like, he had several issues with Crunchyroll, and he just decided, oh, people are mad at Crunchyroll. I'm gonna hop on this bandwagon because I need attention and views. And the part is it kind of worked.
Yep.
And that's the part.
So we got a literal article from A&N that had to debunk his stuff. Which I'm of two minds of. I kind of understand, like, it got big enough that not addressing it probably would have been worse, but...
On the one hand, it calls out the people who actually did think his words were right and, like, that there's actual evidence against it. On the other hand, I feel like the fact that, like, you're giving him a platform almost he makes him more legitimate, but at the same time, it was a platform that needed to be addressed because people were going to wonder what the fuck, maybe he does have things. The problem is he kind of just wanted attention, and he was also just very bitter that Crunchyroll doesn't fund his shit anymore. It really was that simple, and he keeps milking the controversy, and at this point, I just want to see him get dragged. I don't fucking care anymore. I don't care about his life. I want people to stop talking about him. I don't care if it's just because they hate him. People need to learn when things are bitter, stop talking about them. Let them go away. Let them fade. Him. But... So,
there are three words that come to mind. In good faith. If you're really going out of your way to talk about something and you really believe it, then sure. But if you're doing it because you see an opportunity to hop on a bandwagon or a trend and just latch on to a little bit of quote-unquote controversy, that's not going about it in good faith. That just makes you an asshole.
Yeah. I also think the fascinating thing about this entire thing is everybody's like, Crunchyroll doesn't do enough, or they're mishandling my money, even though Crunchyroll has a shit ton of avenues and other things, and they've probably funded a show or licensed a show and advertised a show you really f***ing like that would not have gotten as big, or may not have even gotten made at all if it hadn't been for their direct involvement in.
Okay, let me just state out a diagram here. Crunchyroll, Ellation Studios, Otter Media, Warner Media, AT&T. They have money, okay? You're paying for a service. That's what you get, the service. They have their royalties that go back to the studios in Japan. They do their part. That's all, okay? You're paying for a service. You're getting a service. End of lecture.
Okay, I just want to say a couple of other things, and I'm sorry if I sound like kind of incoherent. So firstly, it's pretty much this. A lot of the people complaining just honestly do not understand how businesses kind of work. Because the argument I've seen constantly, or the quote-unquote legitimate argument I've seen, is that whatever money they're spending on this is money they can be spending towards improving the site. Which sounds like a reasonable argument, but it kind of ignores the reality that they are more than likely spending money to fix site issues already. I mean, for Pete's sake, they literally announced that they're rolling out the HTML5 player like the day after that news hit.
The sad part is that
friggin'.
The sad part is that also kind of gives the wrong idea, and people thinking, oh, this only happened because we got mad. Getting mad works. It's like, no, that should not be the message they're getting. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I've kind of been annoyed at the way Crunchyroll responded to that too. I feel like if they had just said, okay, HTML5 player, and that was it, totally fine. But the fact that they tried to quote unquote apologize is just,
Don't give them an inch. Giving people an inch means they're only going to want more. And this also has been a fascinating exercise in pure, unabashed anime fan entitlement. And I've seen a lot of it. Like, I've been on the Funimation forums. I've been on the Anime News Network forums. I've seen Discords and the like. People are bitter, entitled little shits and are never satisfied. And I was talking with a friend of mine who said the following about the entire debacle. Crunchyroll could have made the perfect player so amazing other streaming services are licensing the streaming player from them, funded 100 literally perfect anime with zero flaws, given all anime staff in Japan livable wages, and bought them decent houses, funded 100 more perfect anime on top of that, found a way to license shows worldwide, no restrictions, then made High Guardian Spice, and people would still complain that they're wasting their money.
Yeah, pretty much.
pretty much.
The show literally does not even really exist. It's a concept right now, as far as we know. It could be good. It could be bad. Here's the other thing. If it's bad, or if you don't want to watch it, you literally do not have to go on a goddamn martyr case, go on a rebellion about how this sucks, and Crunchyroll is corrupt, and ruining the industry, and they're not helping the industry. Just don't f***ing watch it. Like, it's just that simple. Just not watch it.
Okay, and of course, there's also the rather painful reality that if it was a Castlevania-looking thing, they would probably have been very excited for it.
Nobody... Stop being mad at cartoons! Things can be made for other people that aren't you. Fans think everything should be for them. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't. You aren't every individual. Not everything is going to be made for you. Every niche exists. Every show is not made for you. Every show doesn't have to be for you. You don't have to like every show. Just accept that. Find peace that things don't matter. Stop being angry. Stop being bitter. Stop putting so much vitriolic anger in your life and making the world a worse place because you are a bitter, angry little piece of shit who will never get over your own f***ing problems. I'm done.
And on that note, I believe we should move on because I don't think there's any more that needs to be said right there.
There does not.
All right.
I hope this will die in a few days. It seems like it finally is calming down, but damn it, this entire thing's been a headache.
Yeah, such is fandom in 2018.